It's Thanksgiving week, and NFL teams have 6 more weeks to jockey for playoff position. Fantasy footballers? Just a couple. Time for waiver wire pickups. Time for ffchamps.com on Football Nation. I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network. He's Bill Enright of ffchamps.com. Billy, I don't have time. I got 2 weeks left. I'm on the fringe of missing or making the playoffs. I need some advice here. Who are we picking up? What's gonna spur me onto the playoffs?
You know, it's interesting, Butch. Bye weeks are over, so pretty much everyone has their quarterback situation from a fantasy football standpoint pretty much settled at this point, unless you have an unhealthy quarterback, and there are some: Mike Vick, Jay Cutler, the list, Big Ben Roethlisberger. So what you want to look at are the guys that are playing well now, and you have to start off with Chad Henne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blaine Gabbert got injured in Week 11. Henne came in and torched a great Houston Texans defense, 354 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Henne has a great matchup in Week 12 playing against the Tennessee Titans. He's perfect for a plug-and-play, but he's a very short-term solution. If you're looking for a longer-term guy, you have to look at Cleveland Browns rookie Brandon Weeden. He has a great upcoming schedule: Raiders, Chiefs, Redskins in the next 3 weeks. He's a safe play, not anything spectacular. 210 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys. Those are the kind of stats you can expect from Brandon Weeden.
And when we go to running backs, you mentioned injuries. There's, of course, injury situations at running back, but there's also roles to think about at this time of year. Danny Woodhead was a good example 2 weeks ago, but did nothing this week. So it's a week-by-week thing, isn't it?
It is very much a week-by-week thing, and you mentioned Danny Woodhead, 0 fantasy points in Week 11. Shane Vereen had 11 carries for the Patriots. He could see an expanded role going forward behind Stephen Ridley. Danny Woodhead at this point, more of a change of pace back. But the player I think a lot of fantasy managers should really look to pick up this week is Ronnie Hillman from the Denver Broncos. Willis McGahee went down with a knee injury against the Chargers. Hillman came in. Now, the thing about this is we don't know the extent of McGahee's injury thus far. But because the Denver Broncos playoff schedule and schedule for the rest of the fantasy football regular season is so great, Hillman's a guy you'll want to pick up. Now, the Broncos selected him in the 3rd round of this year's draft. He was injured much of training camp, didn't really pick up pass blocking scheme until recently. He's a very versatile running back. He was on pace to break all of Marshall Faulk's college records at San Diego State, but he declared for the draft early. So Hillman's a guy you may want to pick up because the Broncos have a great schedule, and if McGahee's out a significant chunk of time, Hillman will be able to fill in nicely. Another running back you may want to consider is Bryce Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, LeSean McCoy knocked out cold against the Redskins in Week 11. He has a concussion, so we don't know when he'll be able to return to action. Bryce Brown, 5 carries, 35 yards against the Skins. The bottom line is this: the Eagles, they're falling apart all over the place. They have a terrible offensive line. But if you had McCoy right now, Bryce Brown is his handcuff.
When it comes to wide receivers for waiver wire pickups for Week 12, last week you nailed it. You said Denario Alexander, 7 catches, almost 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was perfect for the Chargers, even though they didn't win the game. A couple of other interesting guys this week in wide receivers, huh?
How about Justin Blackmon, the rookie for the Jacksonville Jaguars? I mentioned how well Chad Henne performed his quarterback, and Blackmon was the top wide receiver drafted in this year's NFL draft. His 9 previous games, Butch, he only had 25 fantasy points. In Week 11, he had 33 fantasy points, 236 yards, 7 receptions, and a touchdown against the Houston Texans. The Jags are playing behind a lot, and they have a great matchup in Week 12 against the Tennessee Titans. In addition to Justin Blackmon at the receiver position, a sneaky pickup is Julian Edelman. Think about it, Butch. Rob Gronkowski is out for the remainder of the regular season, most likely. Aaron Hernandez still dealing with a nagging injury. Patriots actually used Edelman more than they did Brandon Lloyd against the Colts. He had a great punt return for a touchdown. He had 5 receptions, 58 yards. He's playing great right now in Week 11 against the Colts. I think the Patriots use him, especially now that they're on a short week playing on Thanksgiving against the Jets.
Tight end waiver wire pickup. I drafted Rob Gronkowski early. I was one of those guys. I've never looked back, but now I am. Here I am 2 weeks away from the playoffs like a lot of people. I need a tight end.
Yeah, the injury to Rob Gronkowski is pretty significant. You won't find a tight end that will be able to replace the amount of production that Gronk put up for you. But you know what? You're going to have to put in someone. So you may want to look at Bucs tight end Dallas Clark, back-to-back games with a touchdown. In Week 11, he had 7 receptions, 58 yards, and a TD, and he's starting to get more involved in the Tampa Bay offense. Another guy you may want to consider is Dwayne Allen for the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck throws the ball to him a lot. He gets a ton of targets. Colby Fleener, the fellow rookie for the Colts, is still dealing with that nagging injury. Allen, in Week 11, 6 receptions, 69 yards against the Patriots. And again, very involved in that Colts offense.
He's Billy Enright of ffchamps.com. I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network. Those are your waiver wire pickups for Week 12. This is FF Champs on Football Nation.